Hey there everybody, welcome! Today I've got Brave Troop Toys BTT01, their Rise of the Beast Bumblebee, and we're going to transform them. So first thing, I'm going to go ahead and fold up the fists. I already did on that one. Get the thumb down there and just fold up the fingers, which for me the fingers are very, very tight. But there you go, we'll go ahead and do that just to get that out of the way. I'm going to bring the arms forward, and we're going to come around to the legs. We're going to do the legs first. So just to help with clearance, because I know in a minute I'm going to need it, I'm going to bring these out so they're out of the way. Alright, so where to start? Well, let's start with the wheel. Pull the wheel out, disconnect the heel from the inner heel, I suppose. Outer heel, inner heel, sure. Alright, lift up on this silver piece, and now we want to untab the body panel from the inside of the shin. So you can just grab it and give it a little rotate. If for some reason that's really tight for you and it doesn't want to release, you can just get under there. There's a tab and slot here. Just get under there with the spudger. Alright, so bring that out. Fold this bumper out all the way. What the fuck are you doing? And what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and rotate this at the ball joint. I'm going to lift up on this side piece, disengage it from the inner part of the foot, and now I'm going to lift up on these panels. I'm going to slide the foot back all the way. It's on a tiny little slider. And it has a screw joint there with a ball joint. So we want to rotate it at the screw joint right now, and we're going to bring the whole thing in. And as you do this, just straighten out the ball joint. Don't get your thumb caught in there like I did. And go ahead and bring it all the way in. There we go. So it'll be sitting nice and straight like that. All right, all the way compressed. Now I'm going to bring this back a little because I want to get this silver piece underneath here, and you can kind of, there we go. You've got a little bit of outward movement on the joint, so get that out. Then we'll rotate this down, and we're going to rotate this down all the way and give this a rotate at the same time to clear everything. And then you've got a slot here in the back of the car. You can't see it on camera, but it is there. And there's a tab on the bumper. Those are going to meet up, and you've got two tabs and slots here. So go ahead and get all that together, and it helps if you rotate this big piece, rotate it into the outer piece. Get those three tabs and slots in the middle first, and then you can worry about the one on the bumper if it doesn't locate itself. There, you just pull out on the bumper ever so slightly to get that to line up. Alright, and then for the wheel, you can push it in. There's a very, very small slot for a very, very small tab on the metal hinge. You just clip that together. Lift up on the shin guard and rotate the silver piece all the way in. And it has a peg there for the hole in the center of it. So there you go. And at this point, we've already made sure the foot is all the way in. I'm going to go ahead and bring this down. And you have a tab here for a slot here. Go ahead and get that connected. And you may need to give it a little bit of wiggle. For me, it constantly hits back here when I do this, but then once it tabs in, it's perfectly fine. So just give it a little bit of a wiggle, make it work. Make sure your knee is still straight. And at this point, we can go ahead and get this back down to where it should be. All right. And let's do the next leg. Same exact thing, just in reverse, or mirror image. Bring the wheel out. Separate the inner foot, separate the heel. Bring these panels back a little bit. Rotate. Lift up on the silver piece. separate the body panel from the inner part of the shin. There we go. Get that out. Bring the bumper piece out. We'll go ahead and bring the silver piece down now, and then we'll bring the body up. We're going to rotate at that screw joint, get it all over. I'm going to go ahead and push the foot back as far as it will go, and then keep rotating to get that lined up. Rotate the fender backwards, and then start rotating the top of the body, and then get all of these tabs lined up. These three first, then pull out ever so slightly on the bumper, get that lined up, bring this down, and get the sail panel tabbed in. There we go. And now we can go ahead and join the two back halves of the body. You've got a tab and a pair of small posts back here, and then a tab up here for corresponding slots. And you just squeeze that all together, and then we'll lift up on the shin guard, move the silver piece in, close that, and tab the wheel in, and we'll go ahead and fold this back into place. And that is pretty much it for the back of the car. For these two pieces, they are on their own double joints, and what we're going to do, we're going to lift up on them, and we're going to rotate them inwards on themselves so they're sitting like that. All right, there we go. Rhea, Rhea, Kate, Rhea, come on. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's see where to start next. Well, we'll go ahead and close up the doors. I'm going to bring them out. I'm going to rotate them a little and bring the tires out. And I want to bring these back. And I want to fold down on this inner panel. All right, show you the same thing on the other side, but from the back. There's that double joint, here's that panel, and there we go. All right, next I'm going to untab this from there, and it has a double joint, and I'm going to just bring it down. Oops. There we go. Bring it as far down as it'll go, because we want to be able to get that out in a second. Now we're going to lift up on these two yellow pieces on the side. There we go. And you want to separate the ab portion. It's just the single tab going into a slot, nothing special. So there you go. And now is what we're going to do. Fold down his ears. We're going to bring the front of the car out. You can straighten out these middle panels. Just try and get a little bit of clearance here. Said try, I didn't say it's going to happen. There we go. And we're going to lift up on this, and his head should pretty much go right in. Now at the moment, we also need to get the windshield out. So, and this is one thing I wish we had a little bit of better clearance on. There we go. Because you're kind of forcing these lights past the double joint for this. Not a huge fan of that. And while we're here, we'll go ahead and flip these lights as well. There we go. All right, and we'll come back to that. We got this out. Let's go ahead and keep lifting the body up. You got to get his head in here. Okay, and what is hitting? Ah, of course I did forget about that. So these doors here, these double hinges, yeah, they actually stick out a little. They will prevent the hood from rotating. I forgot about that. But you see, that's why I'm doing this, to show you so you can do it the right way. So, there we go. Head is underneath the car now. I'm going to pull out on these two sides of the windows. Alright. And it may not stay tabbed in. However, I am going to go ahead and you've got this big slot here for these two tabs here. Let's go ahead and get that plugged in. And you do have to make sure that your waist rotate is straight for this. There we go. Alright, I got that in. These panels just go off to the side. They're going to be for the doors. And this, you can fold in yellow pieces and just tuck that in. You've got two slots up here for two tabs at the front of the roof. You can try to plug that in now, but I can almost guarantee it's going to come undone as we continue to transform. But we'll do it just so we can locate it. I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to lift up on the front of the car, bring the bumper out and straighten it out, and then split the front just a little bit, just angle them outward so you can get this up past, and then close them up. Is it closed? It's acting like it doesn't want to close up. Okay, I think we got it. Go ahead and bring this down. You've got two tabs here, the big ones, and you got two on the side, and then this piece is just going to slot in right there. Go ahead and get it all compressed down, and this is how you're going to know if you got everything up here lined up, because it's going to seal everything up. Those two big tabs lock this down. The two small on the outside lock these in place, and then this one just kind of locates the front. So there you go. That's all lined up. Now we're going to do the arms, which is easily the most annoying and most... it's the most difficult part of the transformation, but it doesn't really mean it's difficult. It is annoying, though. That's an absolute. So is what I'm going to do. What helps, all right, is we're going to take these door pieces and we're going to fold them in on their double joints. And the point of this is for clearance. So you don't really have to, but I like doing it. Now it's almost flush here, so I can bring the wheel back as far as it'll go, right? And you can kind of play with the angle a little bit. But the big thing is the hinge for the wheel is in the way of this back shoulder piece. So we got that. Open up the doors all the way so you can try and have this, you know, in as flat as possible, right? So you've got this friction hinge that's going to rotate inward, and then you've got the ratchet joint that you need to play with as well. I'm going to take the outer armor and slide it down on the double joint, and then at that friction hinge I'm going to bring it in, I'm going to rotate at the ratchet, and there we go. So this is the piece that is annoying as all get out. So I'm going to rotate it. I'm rotating it at the screw hinge, the screw joint for it right now. Here, let's go the other way. Going that way, it hits the screw for the other shoulder piece. But there we go. Rotate it that way. Then I'll rotate it up. Come on, come on. A little bit of wiggle, a little bit of wiggle. And then, there we go. This is how we got it so far. I'm going to bring this black piece down and all the way back as far as it'll go. I'm going to bring the wheel forward just enough. And now I'm going to tab it in. It's going to tab into the front here, and then there is a slot right in here for a tab right here. And that is what we are going to get lined up right now. And at this point, you should be able to get everything lined up if you have the shoulder positioned right. And then we'll bring the wheel in a little bit and leave it there. We'll leave the door out. Let's do the other side first. So again, on the friction hinge, we'll start to bring it down. We'll bring this shoulder piece down for clearance. Ratchet that up. I'm going to push this, rotate it. There we go. Rotate it this way. Okay, there we go. This is a good example of if something feels like it's hitting, pay attention, give something a little wiggle. Don't force anything, because you've got a screw that attaches it to the shoulder, but then this is just a pin. And that is the part that's scary. Alright, then we'll bring the wheel a little bit forward. We'll go ahead and bring this in and tab it in appropriately. It should tab together pretty well. We can go ahead and get the other door out of the way, make sure they're both out of the way, and fold the car all the way up before we finish with those fenders. There we go. Try and get everything where it needs to be and see if that helps line up. There we go. That one's in. This one I did get. Gonna bring the arms down. Gonna bring these pieces back up. And the wheels, they have a small slot on the armature for this. So just tab them in. They should locate by themselves. And then last thing, the doors right here, slide them forward on those double hinges, and they're going to tab into the back of those fender pieces. But you also have this that needs to fit in that notch. So make sure that goes in place. Slide that forward. Do the same on both sides. Come on, there it is. A little bit more, okay, and up on that. There we go. Okay, make sure the door is closed up, and we should be able to rotate it in. You have a tab right here that goes into where the door latch on a real car would be, and then two ports up here for two posts in the window. So go ahead and rotate it in. Get the big tab first, and then the ports should auto-locate, but if not, once you have the tab in, it'll be a little bit easier to locate them if you need to. And then same thing over here. Alright. And now let me make sure I finished the arms, make sure they're all the way down. I have them fisted, balled up as a fist right now. You can bring the fingers out bring the thumb out, and get it a little bit flatter. It's not by much, it's a hair. But you can do that, and it doesn't seem to make a difference because even if you have them balled up, they're still going to have ground clearance, and they're going to be able to roll perfectly fine. But looking at everything, I do believe we're done. Yep, there we go. Everything a little squeeze, make sure it's all sitting right. There we go. So there's the side, the front, the top, the bottom, and you can transform him with his battle mask on. I have tried it. It may come off, but you can put it back on if you want for storage. And then there's the back. Get you out of the way. There you go. Okay, and now let's go ahead and get him transformed back into his bot mode. So, first things I want to do is I want to get these arms out of the way. They are annoying. So I'm going to untab tire, kind of bring it out a little bit. I'm going to bring this shoulder piece down on the double joint. There we go, bring it all the way down. I'm going to go ahead and rotate at this joint. I'm gonna, let's see, best way to do this, let's open up the door, which I think I just popped this trim piece loose again. Yep, I did. I mentioned that in my review, that it had came loose and I tried gluing it, and I'm gonna have to just try gluing it again. Actually, nope, this is the other door. Well, either way, I mentioned that in my review. So I'll open up the door and I will slide this part back. Give me some clearance for this. Separate it from the hood area. Give it a small rotate back. And I'm going to try and swing it up. There we go, like that. We can move the black piece in a little bit as well for clearance. I mean, we got to fold it in anyway, but don't have to do it all the way at this moment. There we go. Then I'll bring this back. Now I'll fold this all the way down. All right. And now that we're sitting here, I'm going to give the arm a little bit of a rotate. Oh, let's see here. Try and do this a little bit differently. See if I can get some different results. And bring the door down further so I can bring the wheel. I'd like to bring the wheel more in. There we go. That double joint did not want to cooperate. Bring the wheel in as flat as I can to give me some clearance here. I'll rotate it like that, and then I'll rotate it this way. And then when I bring the arm out, I can get everything. And it's just small movements, but you can see, there we go. And then we'll get that shoulder up. Did it without having to flex that pin joint. Ooh, I do not like that pin joint. Just because I can do it without flexing it doesn't mean I'm happy it's there. Alright, so same thing over here. Try and make this a little bit smoother. So, door open. And bring this double joint back. I'm going to lift up on the arm a little. And I'm going to go ahead and get this joint all the way in now. There we go. Get that nice and smooth. Get some clearance. Separate this. Separate the tire. I'll give this a small rotate. Bring the wheel back. fold in the fender flare piece. And then give the arm a little bit of an outward movement, rotate that down, and then keep rotating it. Oops. It will help to get this out of the way for now. Believe it or not, I don't know why, but it does seem to help. Here we go. And then we'll rotate and lift up on that inner joint, not the ratcheted joint. You want the inner friction joint to actually lift the the shoulder up. But there we go. Alright, that was relatively pain-free. These double joints were a little annoying, they were a little stiff, but hey, there we go. We got it. Got it without flexing those joints. Next up, we'll go ahead and do the front of the car. I'm going to go ahead and lift up on that. Untab the windshield. Now I want these joints. There we go. I want them on the outside of the fender again so that we have room to fold the roll bar in. And there we go. Get that out of the way. Let's see. Go ahead and bring the front of the car out a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and leave it right there for now. Let's go ahead and get the head through the hood. Don't forget to open up this before we go all the way in. And when we get about to this point, make sure that the windshield goes in first along the center spine. There we go. So you want the windshield in there just like that. Now I'm going to bring him up on this internal joint here while bringing the hood of the car down. Alright, doing a couple different moves here. And for that internal joint, make sure, is that maxed out? It doesn't want to go anymore. Okay, let me rotate this in. I think that joint is maxed out. I'm going to rotate these bull bar pieces back, and what I do is I just kind of tuck them up into the side of the body there. And then we'll close this up. That has two tabs that go into the yellow piece. Go ahead and close these up around his waist. Bring in the front of the car. Alright, and I moved these yellow pieces as well already, but I believe you do want them kind of making like a little V shape there. Okay. Now I'll go ahead and, on that friction joint for the shoulders, I'll go ahead and make them straight out. I believe you can set that however you want, but that's how I'm going to set mine. And then I'm going to rotate these inner panels a little bit. Alright, so arms are done. Chest is pretty much done. Last thing, we'll go ahead and come back here, and you see we've got these two tabs. Those go into those slots. So we're going to fold this up. Fold up these light pieces. These side pieces just kind of get folded in, have those two pinholes facing forward, and then you just rotate this up. And it has its own double joint. So just move that joint as you need to. There we go. And it should come together pretty easily. If you have something out of alignment, this is when you're going to find out. This yellow panel is a little bit further down than it should be. There we go. Look at that. And now I'm going to take these, I'm going to flip up on this yellow panel, all right, and I'm going to go ahead and bring that inside this cavity. And this is a little bit optional. Out of the package, I think they're just sitting back there like this. You can keep them straight back, but then its backpack's going to be super long. I think that this looks the best, because now I can also tuck the wheels up, and I can either have them back there like that, or I can tuck them in sideways. So kind of whatever you want to do there. And I'll come back to that piece, because like I said in my review, it's I don't know, it's a weird manufacturing thing. All right, so down here, go ahead and start to lift these up a little bit, and I'm going to split the legs apart. I'm going to pull up on this sail panel piece on both sides to get that freed up. Get the arms out of the way here so I have room to work. Good. All right. So first thing, I'm going to separate the bumper. I'm just going to pull back on the bumper while I'm rotating the body. Lift up on the shin piece and move out on the silver piece, and in fact I'll do that on the other side so I don't forget again, because I did forget. I should have done that first. Alright, close up those shin pieces. Cool. And now is what we're going to do is the foot, that double joint that it's on, we're going to go ahead and get it all rotated out as best we can. It's kind of a little wiggle, because the part of it that is screwed on is pretty tight. The part of it, it's the ball joint itself is pretty tight, so it's just got to work with it a little. Come on, here we go. Okay, we're getting there. We are getting there. Lift up on the silver piece, and then lift up on the entire quarter panel. Again, get some space, some room to work here for the foot. Slide the foot forward. And now I'm going to close all of this up. These just fold in. You've got the slot on the back of the heel that goes into the tab on the heel that goes into the slot in the black painted part of the bumper. Let's go ahead and get that in, get that this all flat, and then it's got a tab here for a slot here. Get that plugged in, and then you can give it a rotate and make sure you finish bringing it around. We're going to close up this bumper piece, and you've got a tab here that goes into a slot down here, so go ahead and just get that flipped around, locate it, and give it a good press in. There it is. Bring this down, and it should fit. It's got a little gap in it, and that'll fit right over the bumper. And then just bring the wheel back in. It doesn't tab in, it just folds up. And that is it for a leg. And now we'll do the same thing over here. We'll go ahead and separate this bumper while we rotate the back of the body out. Bring the wheel out, get that untabbed. bring this out. Start to wiggle the foot out. Give yourself some clearance. Lift up on the silver piece. There we go. Lift up on the entire quarter panel. Go ahead and get this all rotated out and around. Slide out the foot. Compress these panels. Tab the heel in to the back of the car. Tab the sail panel into the side of the foot. Rotate this. Close up the bumper. And then again, go ahead and get it all lined up for the tab and slot on the side of the shin, which is right. Kind of going by feel, because there's the tab and there's the slot, but you can't really see what you're doing. There it is. Got it. And then close up the silver piece, fold in the wheel. Put the hip skirts right. All right, and I believe that is it. You can bring his little ears out if you wish. The bigger part of the door is on a mushroom peg, so if you hold this piece steady, you can give it a rotate. It is tight, so just be careful with it. But there you go. Get that however you want. I'm going to have to glue this back on now that popped off. I said this is the one I already had to glue. I may have to glue that one too. I mean, it's fine that it pops off. It's just annoying, and I don't want to have to keep dealing with it. But there you go. That is Brave Troop Toys B in his robot mode. So there is the front. The side. Like I said, you can move the wheels however you want. That's just where I choose to have them. And then the back. And then a little upper shot as well. Okay, there you go. That is it. So, thank you for watching. I hope this video helped some of you, and hope to see you next time. See ya.